Richie Whitt of NBCDFW.com with Armen and Levack 104.5 The Team. Richie, you were there when Dirk got drafted by the Mavericks. You were at the press conference. You've watched every dribble of Dirk's career. Is Kristaps Porzingis the next Dirk Nowitzki?
You know what? Let me start with this. He's better than Dirk was at 20, and not just a little bit. He's a lot better than Dirk. I watched the game last night, the first full game I've watched of Porzingis, and don't take this the wrong way, his fans, but he's half Sean Bradley, half Larry Bird. He's got the size and the spring, and Bradley, for such a goofball, was athletic. But he's also got the basketball IQ, the smarts and the guile, and obviously the shooting of Bird. I think he's going to be really, really special. And when Dirk arrived, I was there in 1998 when Don Nelson presented him and said, "Look at my new find." And there's this 19-year-old skinny, shy kid got off the plane with this ridiculous bowl haircut, a giant gold hoop earring, and zero confidence. We were like, what has Nelly done to this franchise? He just set us back another 10 years. And, of course, now that Dirk prepares to pass Shaq for sixth, all-time in NBA scoring list, I think he did okay. And I think Porzingis has a lot of that same skill set, and Dirk last night was just blown away by him.
Richie, like when they drafted Porzingis, we were told this is a 3-year, 4-year project. Don't expect anything yet. I mean, is he still going to accelerate and get better over those 3-4 years, or should we just be happy with what we've got right now?
I mean, he's 20. He's got to get better. He's never played this level of competition before. And yes, unless there's an injury or there's something about his personality, his work ethic that we don't know yet, then yes, he's going to get better and significantly better. But right now, he's got the whole package, the potential to have an elite package, which Dirk developed. But it took Dirk, it took him 4 or 5 years before he was really a 35-minute-a-game contributor for them. He had a really, really slow start, and I was there his first game in Seattle, and I was embarrassed for him as a 19-year-old in the NBA. Sean Kemp just brutalized him, and Dirk just kind of sheepishly went to the bench, and I thought, I don't know if this kid's going to make it. Well, Porzingis, so far, we think, unless something weird happens, we think we know he's going to make it.
Wow. Richie Whitt of NBCDFW.com with Armen and Levack. And Richie, for those that don't know, you and I were part of an afternoon drive show in Dallas for 5 years. And I got you on because you find the flaw in everybody. You find the flaw in every situation. You will 100% tell everyone, whoa, slow down, pump the brakes. And I have in your spirit, when every caller calls in and says, oh, Kristaps and Dirk, they're one and the same, I've said, whoa, pump the brakes. You, Richie Whitt, are telling us to give that a green light.
I'm telling you, he's got the potential to do what Dirk has done. Yeah, I mean, if you just look at his skill set, I mean, he's 3 feet taller, has the same range. Wow. There's just not a lot to hate about the kid. Oh, but wait a minute, Armen, I'm not going to disappoint you. Here's what I hate about Porzingis. And it's not his fault, but it is his fault. I want to like the kid, but I'm not done loving Dirk yet. Don't shove old Dirk away. He did have 25 points last night. He's having a great year. Don't tell me he's the next Dirk when Dirk is still around.
Go.
He's good. He might be great, but he's not there yet. Let's don't make the focus every time he does a little something good, turn it into, he's going to go to Springfield tomorrow as the Hall of Fame.
Mavericks beat the Knicks in Madison Square Garden last night, 104-97. Now that's the Richie I was looking for. Richie Whitt of NBCDFW.com. Cowboys beat the Redskins in an ugly one last night, 19-16 on Monday Night Football. Richie, how would you describe that win by the Cowboys?
I'm exhausted from watching this ridiculous team. And Armen, from your time here, huge Jason Garrett fan, right? Like defend him in the face of criticism over and over and over again. I'm sorry, but I'm done with him. That game, when Deshaun Jackson makes the worst punt return in the history of NFL, backtracks 25 yards, fumbles the ball to 15, you've got the other team with 2 timeouts. You take a knee twice, center of the ball, and Dan Bailey kicks a manageable 32-yard field goal with 10 seconds left. He has had an F- year as far as game management, and he's a really smart guy, but I'm done defending his game management. That was horrible last night. They didn't deserve to win the game that the Redskins demanded that they won.
This season, who would you rather be managing your fourth quarter, Tom Coughlin or Jason Garrett?
You know what? I think Coughlin threw up a game. Matter of fact, the season opener, he kind of out Garrett, but Garrett has been horrible. I mean, at the end of the first half last night, I know the offenses are struggling, but you've got 3 timeouts. There's 50 seconds to go on a running clock, and Washington's lining up for a field goal, and you just let the clock run out. I mean, again, maybe he's so scared of Matt Castle turning the ball over, but in the NFL, you've got to take advantage of your possessions, and that was just sheepish and crappy and wrong of him to do that, and he does it every single game. His time management is so conservative and scared that his team starts to play like that, and they play really horrible.
Normally I'd ask, who do you think wins the NFC East, but I feel like I have to ask you this way. Who do you think is the only team that doesn't lose the NFC East this year?
I mean, seriously, this is the worst division I can ever remember, and it's a punch in the gut to us down here because we're thinking the Cowboys are 12-4. They're coming off a playoff win. Everything's trending the right way. They add some pieces on defense with Hardy, and they got Sean Levack. On offense, they got Romo, and they still got Dez, and the best offensive line of football, we thought. So, and then you fast forward to December, no team in the division has a winning record, and you would think back in training camp, well, if you tell me that, the Cowboys are going to already hang the banner. They're done. It's the most disappointing year in Cowboys history. And who's going to win the division? I know this. It's not going to be the Cowboys. They have no chance to beat the Packers in Green Bay, and that means they're not going to finish 8-8. And I think one of these dog meats is going to get 8-8, right?
I'm not willing to put money on it at this point.
There could be a 7-9 de facto champion. There wasn't the Seahawks. The Rams did that a couple years ago, so it could happen. But it's ugly.
Hey, Richie, you're going as far as saying Jason Garrett F-. Is there any way his job's in jeopardy this offseason?
No, I don't think so. Because again, you take away Dez hasn't been Dez the whole year. Romo has been gone for all but 3 games, and it's not fair to judge or to hang the coach because of that.
Richie, educated guess, Greg Hardy back as a Cowboy next year?
I think he is, yeah. I mean, because this is a Jerry call, and everybody says, well, his son Steven helps him out, and it's a committee decision, but no. In the end, it's Jerry. Jerry stuck his neck out on the line for Hardy. He had a bunch of bumps in the road and hiccups early on, but all of a sudden he shut up. He's not tweeting. He's not causing a ruckus. And he's probably their best defensive lineman. So if you just took that and said, okay, here's a guy who's not causing any more problems. He's your best defensive lineman, and he's coming to you relatively cheap. You would sign that guy until you went, oh, it's Greg Hardy. Let me think about it. I think Jerry will look at the last half of the season and say, he's a guy that can help us win in the future. And, of course, Jerry doesn't mind, wink, wink, the adversity and the added attention. So, I think he's back.
Richie Whitt, NBC DFW, at Richie Whitt on Twitter. Richie, love you, man. Thanks for your time.
Love you guys. Talk soon.